Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Ivan Penaluna.
And I'm Eric Amber. And on tonight's show,
the new Touchy-Feely Europe.
Oh, you guys like to tell jokes and giggle and kid around, huh? Giggling like a bunch of young broads in a schoolyard. Well, let me tell a joke.
I wanted this to be professional.
I don't gotta listen to this shit.
You certainly don't, pal. Because the good news is... Awesome!
With Byron Bertram and Ivan Penaluna.
Okay, so this is the story about the new Touchy-Feely Europe. Ooh, so touchy and feely. But before we get into that, I just want to point out the obvious, the elephant in the room, and that is Byron Bertram is not with us. He's away in Australia on holiday, tanning his buttocks, chasing tail and filling his pockets. But we're very lucky because whilst he's away, we have Canada's most hated man, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Amber. He's going to be standing in.
thank you for having me.
Welcome, Eric.
One of the few places I'm welcome in Canada.
You're pretty hated, aren't you?
I am Canada's most hated man.
Yeah, at Quebec, you can't go. I mean, you can't go in there, right?
Oh, I can go there, but I just have to speak French and disguise myself.
Okay, and what about Alberta?
And Alberta's become NDP, so I'm not allowed to have an opinion there anymore.
Right. And if BC knew about you to the degree that you were capable of being known,
and I pretty much can't go to any bar in Vancouver because I'm probably going to offend somebody.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about this at length because, I mean, you're a pretty confrontational guy. But, you know, I the way I look at it is that you're just being reasonable. It's the rest of the world that's gone mad, you know. But we both touched with the OCD and the oppositional defiance brush to some degree, aren't we?
Yeah, some might say I have OCD personality disorder. Like, I'll call you a cunt, but 17 times in a row.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. Yeah, and I've got a son who's very much like that. It's like, Dad!
Yeah, so, but I, just in my defense, I consider myself a mirror. So if you're nice to me, I'm nice to you.
Right.
So, we can go, this is going to be fine.
Yeah, in that respect, you like Byron because he's a people pleaser.
He is a people pleaser.
You know, he likes to please people, and he also likes to be liked, as you well know.
He loves to be liked.
That's why he's in Australia.
See, I'm not, so I don't care if people like me.
I don't care either. You see, that's what we share, right? We don't care whether people like us. Byron, he'd die if people didn't like him.
Yeah,
he would he'd cease existing.
It eats him up inside.
Yeah, I know. That's why
he adjusts his personality to always make people happy.
And that's why he's in Australia right now.
Yeah.
Because he's lapping it up. He doesn't get enough attention on the Dry Shave Show. You know, every week he goes, please let me know I exist. And no one fucking answers his plaintive call.
So if you are listening and you are a fan of Byron Bertram, do send us an email so that we can read it to Byron. Yeah. Now, on the
other change that we have had happening is that Matt Grant, our producer, has gone on to greener pastures. But we, again, are very lucky to have Pyra Draculea stepping in. She is going to be the producer from now on. And you'll know Pyra if you listen in regularly. She contributes on a number of topics that we've covered over the last few months. And also as in the form of producing editorials for us. Mm-hmm. So welcome, Pyra.
Hello. And you'll also know me by the high-pitched, annoying hyena laugh in the background.
That's you as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into our bold statement. It is the new Touchy-Feely Europe.
The all-new Touchy-Feely Europe.
Oh, there's so much touching and feeling going on. It's outrageous.
Now, hang on. How did we get to this new Touchy-Feely Europe?
It was, well, do you remember? Cast your mind back. I want to hear the sound of harps right now. Mm-hmm. Cast your mind back, right? It was just last summer. It was the summer of love. Do you remember when everybody was saying, let the refugees in, they're so maligned, come on, we've got to open our borders, we've got to open our arms, we've got to let these guys in. And Angela Merkel says, you're going to fucking let them in or else we're going to crush you. And she said this to all of Europe. They said, we're letting in 800,000 and it's going to be great. That was the summer. Fast forward 6 months later, and Cologne on New Year's Eve, you have over 500 sexual attacks on one night alone.
Well, that's just called the next step. Open your arms, now open your legs.
Open your arms, open your pussy. There you go.
And recently there was a woman sexually assaulted while she was reporting live on air.
The list is endless. I mean, you know, the biggest thing, other than the obvious mistake that some of us knew they were making at the time, I mean, how fucking obvious was this? Right? It was obvious that they were making a big mistake. I didn't think it was the chickens were going to come home to roost quite so quickly. But The biggest worrying thing about this is that the authorities, the police, the politicians are all doing a really good job to hide this epidemic of sexual violence that's taking place in Europe right now. I mean, if you listen to CBC, you hear nothing about this. In fact, you hear the other side of the story, how we should let more in. Now, as we've said before, there's nothing wrong with giving people a home who are fleeing war. And I think that everybody would agree that that's a good idea. But when they come from an oppositional culture and they bring with them the dangers of Islamic violence, then you have to seriously question whether they're a good fit for your society. And we've always maintained that, right? Haven't we? And the thing is that now in Europe, we have a culture of institutionalized political correctness, which is sweeping outrageous sexual crimes under the carpet for the sake of multiculturalism. What they've basically done is they've taken the safety of women in Europe and said, fuck that. Multiculturalism trumps those safeties.
Absolutely. And the general attitude, too, is, I guess, yeah, well, like I said, the open arms, open legs. And also, if everybody deserves an equal chance at everything, doesn't that include the blonde chicks in, Scandinavia? I guess that's the thought pattern.
And and these cases are not isolated either. You've got cases in Denmark, you've got cases in Sweden, you've got cases in Norway, you've got the cases in Germany. Very well, those are the best known ones in Germany. But also you have cases in Rotherham in the UK, which came to light over the last couple of years. For 10 years, there have been a group of about 10 or so men who were targeting vulnerable children, girls who were still children. And over a 10-year period, they raped 1,400 of them. And some of them, they didn't just rape, they threatened them with violence and death. They poured petrol over them, threatened to set them on fire, shit like this. It's just nasty stuff. Guess what the police did? Covered it up.
Well, they didn't want people to think they were racist.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't want, because these men were British Muslims, they thought, you know what? This is terrible. If this gets out, this looks really bad for multiculturalism. And here again, another good example of what trumps everything else. The multicultural ideal trumps any other sort of consideration in the new societies we're living in.
What we need is a slut walk.
That's a great idea. Who's going to organize that?
We need to do a slut walk across Europe.
And are we going to get feminists to organize that?
Yeah, of course, obviously. Because, let's be honest.
They're on this, right? The feminists on this epidemic?
Well, they're all about the rape culture.
Thank you very much. According to Rolling Stone, rape culture is in American universities. Yeah, it's in American universities. It's not in Europe.
Is it so you can't get raped by a Muslim, but you can by a white frat boy?
I read in the paper today.
Well, that's what they diddle themselves to when, that's what they're thinking about. So therefore, that's what they think is the sexy rape, along with, the 50 Shades of Grey crap. The getting grabbed by a bunch of creepy foreigners saying Angela Merkel invited us, you have to be nice to us. On your way to a party on New Year's Eve. That's really not what the feminists are into, so they just pretend it doesn't exist.
And that's my next point, because during all of this epidemic, this crisis, right, I look out of my window onto the world of feminism and all I can hear is crickets. I can't hear anything. I was like, these guys, any minute now, these guys are going to kick off royally about this.
Well, there was that one article from, what is that idiot's name? Lori Penny or something like that. But, her reaction was, we can't let this whatever happened in Cologne that may or may not have, anyways, we can't let the bigots take over feminism just because a few girls got groped.
That's brilliant, because that's like saying, that's like saying, I'm the president of Mothers Against Drunk Drivers.
Well, basically what the likes of Lori Penny are saying, without saying it, but it's the subtext, is take one for the team, girls, and don't make trouble.
Yeah. Hey, Merkel, come on.
So what?
What we need is Angela Merkel to
don't let
blow all
turn
those
you
guys.
So
what we need is Merkel to blow them all so that they feel welcome in Europe.
My point was going to be, right, so if you're the president of Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, that you could never foresee a situation where you would be excusing a drunk driver for killing another child. Yeah. But this, if you draw the analogy, this is exactly what feminists are doing right now. They're turning a blind eye because politically, questioning multiculturalism is not something that they're willing to do. If you, I mean, this is how sacrosanct it is.
Yeah, but Muslims are so good looking.
Yeah, well, I'm not buying that.
Arabs
but,
come on, Pyra, am I right? Or like
I'm
what's
the
his
wrong
Lawrence of
person to
Arabia?
ask.
He was so good looking.
Well,
I'm really the wrong person to ask because I'm kind of still hung up on 80s rock stars, and so don't ask me, but take a poll on the streets because that has sort of been. It kind of relates to something I've seen some of the men's rights guys sort of say in a flippant manner, that when you look at the reaction of silence to what happened in Cologne versus the ongoing screaming about rape culture and all that, it kind of seems like the rape culture, oh, he looked at me, I raped me, and all that sort of crap is really about shaming European men. Because they're fine with this,
exactly.
but
And that's my next point, and that is the emasculation of European men. Yeah. It's just outrageous. You sit there, well, I don't actually, and somebody had to explain this to me. If you sit on a bench with your legs open opposite a woman, that's extremely sexually violent. But sticking your hand up her skirt and firing a firework at her in Cologne on New Year's Eve, or raping her,
that's a cultural difference.
That's a cultural difference. And I mean, it speaks volumes, the inconsistency on one side to the other. Feminism is a weapon to use against white men.
Well, and
feminism is not a weapon to use against men of color from other cultures. I think that can't be made any more clear from what's going on here.
Well, and I think there's two things going on. Number one, that feminism has gotten into that whole intersectionality thing. So you get that sort of cultural Marxist victim hierarchy. So white woman kind of underneath other race man. It's the same thing as, there's a porn star, not Cynthia, I'm going to forget her name, but Mercedes Carrera is the one who's sort of spearheading the movement to help this woman who was gang raped in her home. Right. That the media doesn't want to talk about, because she's a porn star and the guys who broke in happen to be black. And there's discussion of that sort of thing, because I guess it's like, she's a whore. I mean, granted, she was at home with her kids watching TV, but that sort of treatment of she's not the ideal victim, so no one wants to talk about it, and then the race issue coming in as well. So there's that part with the intersectionality, but then there's also, in a way, there's kind of a benign, actually no, it's not benign, but like what's the word I'm looking for, more hidden or underground, swept under the rug kind of racism there. Because when you're talking about, well, white men have to behave themselves, and if they even sit with their legs open, then that's deeply offensive and a crime against humanity. But that's because we expect the white men to behave themselves. But if a black guy or if a Muslim, well, he can't help it. It's his culture. In a way, you go,
that's incredibly racist. It's incredibly racist, because what you're doing is you're not treating people by the same standard. Yeah. You're not expecting the same standards from them. Therefore, you expect less from them. Therefore, you think that they are lesser people.
Yeah.
So not expecting them to rise to the same standard is racist.
Absolutely.
And it's the sort of racism that the liberal left do better than anybody. In fact, no one else does it. They own that shit.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Arab rapists.
Yeah, I bet Byron would love one of those.
In Canada, we have our own Arab rapist.
We do, don't we? He's not Arab, he's Persian.
He's Persian.
Allegedly rapist.
He's allegedly Persian.
He's on trial at the moment.
He's an amateur boxer, guys.
Who are you talking about? Trudeau?
Oh, no, we went to...
But Trudeau's best buddy, based on all the photos that my more...
I posted a photo.
Mean-spirited friends. The ones that my friends that I genuinely like on Facebook post those photos all the time. My friends I don't like pretend that it doesn't exist.
Let me explain for the listeners. There's a picture of our new pool boy president Justin Trudeau with Jian Ghomeshi, the poster boy of multicultural CBC.
Oh, there's 4 or 5 of them.
he was the poster boy. They were like, look, he's the vanguard. He's the sentinel of the new age of CBC. We've trained him. We've groomed him. He can behave himself. No, he can't, because they're left alone with a woman, smacks him around and fucks him. That's what he does. Now, allegedly, it wasn't a case of
said
rape.
He did it. He just said that it was BDSM.
It's not a case of rape. It's a case of assault and being.
It's sexual violence.
Yes, sexual violence.
There's a sexual nature to the violence.
Yeah,
I mean, which makes it a worse crime than violence.
And that trial started this week.
It did, and he had a good start because they're questioning. I mean, it's hard for somebody who's gone through that sort of thing to get up there and then be cross-examined by a good lawyer, which I'm sure he has.
A really hot Arab lawyer,
right?
Yeah,
not Persian. She's not Persian. You should.
I can't. She's just got dark skin. I imagine she's Arab. She's actually really good looking. However, they at no point did they deny his actions.
Right,
but they're totally attacking the women for sort of engaging him in his
fantasies,
in his fantasies, even going so far as accusing the women of lying to the police about the circumstances around the situation.
Well, I did hear the news report yesterday, and they were saying, what had been brought up in the trial was, look, you said that he smacked you around and fucked you the night before, but here you are. There's a picture of you,
the next day,
having an ice cream with him the next day and kissing him goodbye. Why are you doing that if he did that to you? And it's a fair question. And, any defense lawyer would not be doing their job if they didn't ask these questions. But I think, we live in circles in Canada here around entertainment and news, and we know these rumors were rife.
These rumors were going around for
many years. I know a multitude of people who've talked about this.
Yes, it was kind of well known that there was some improprieties going around. This is the new O.J. Simpson trial for Canada.
This is Canada's O.J. Simpson trial. Did you smack her around and fuck her? No, I didn't, Your Honor. That glove would never fit me.
Yeah.
That condom's too small for me. I never did that.
Did you shove? Yeah. This. Your Honor, the glove doesn't fit up my ass.
Now you bring up, that's another point you bring up now. This is a great one, and we've speculated about this to much merriment. Jian Ghomeshi in jail. Now that'd be great, wouldn't it? Eh? He'd be running the records and tapes library.
Yes.
Well, that would be great for punishing the other prisoners more because he had horrible taste in music.
Well, yeah,
let's make the murderers listen to Moxie Fruvis again.
He's going to make a great bearded lady, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He was once the king of Spain. Now he's taking it up the ass in cell block Q.
This is the Q, baby.
Yeah, the new Q and A.
It's the Q for the bearded lady.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this trial, but this is already a very touchy case for Canadian.
It's a touchy-feely subject, isn't it?
It's a very
punchy one.
Yeah, touchy-feely case. Mostly because he's not denying what he did, right? But all of Canada wants to see him punished.
Yeah, because you know what? And this is the why CBC's so annoyed, because he was the poster boy. They'd invested all this training in him. He was the little dog with the suit on that danced and did everything. And they were going, look at our little dog with the suit on. It does everything that we want it to do. It's a perfect example of the new Canada, the multicultural Canada, the gender sensitive Canada. And he just fucked it. And they're so annoyed that he let them down. I mean, they want to see him destroyed, of course.
Yeah, they do want to see him destroyed, but I also want to have some sort of fucked up sense of justice. He
disappointed. That was the biggest crime he did. Was he disappointed his handlers?
And of course, the other thing they want to do is make sure that nobody looks in too closely to their culture, because there was the corporate culture. Because there was one case of one of the chicks that he had some issue with. I don't think they'd gotten together, so he hadn't punched her yet, but she was like an intern on the show or something, and there was some case where they had a meeting. She was tired, she yawned, and he was like yelling at her, I'm gonna hate fuck the yawn out of you and all this. She went to his bosses and was talking about sexual harassment, they basically came back to her and said, well, yeah, there's a problem between you and John, but you need to there's something wrong with you. You need to adjust your behavior so you two can get along. And
because he's the incumbent.
You guys are pretending to be this great feminist organization, and look how you treat your own women employees. And they really want that to go away and die.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's the problem we have. We are living in a culture that, like, accepts certain impropriety because it's convenient, because we love those people. And on the other hand, we're going to, once you cross that line, we're just going to fucking destroy you.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to just destroy you because we have this. Canada is very polite and nice, but it's not always a place of good.
The progressive liberal culture is totalitarian and it's brutal in its revenge. It destroys people. It destroys people worse than conservatives do. It's vengeful. It's mindful of its vengefulness. It really is. It enjoys it. It enjoys it. And it makes it very public. The public execution that you get from crossing the progressive narrative is very public.
I think you've nailed it on the head. Let's move on to the fucking news.
This is the fucking news.
All right, go. In 5, 4. I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
This is the fucking news.
Fucking thing sucks.
So the fucking news, as I'm the new guy to the team, I want to lead the fucking news. And I read there's a few funny things in the fucking news, 2016. The one that stuck out on my computer recently was that the Italian government or some company in Italy is now giving out Italian cheese bonds. So cheese-backed bonds. They're selling cheese-backed bonds.
So this is like a government bond, but instead of government debt you're buying bonds in the cheese industry.
Yeah, so basically you're spending this money and it's based on the value of cheese.
Well, I wonder what the 10-year yield is on a kilo of Parmesan.
I don't know, but I think those rates probably stink.
You know what? This just tells you, this is a very good indication as to how fucked a country is when they start selling bonds in a food substance that they produce. I mean, I understand, but really, is it that bad in Italy? There's no money, there's no gold. No, we've mortgaged all the churches. Our old ladies in black scarves, they've all
What
gone.
else? What
all
else
gone
we
to
got?
China. What have we got? Cheese. Brilliant, Luigi. That's a fucking great idea. Give Luigi a pie. Cheese. Excellent. 10-year bonds, 5-year bonds. What's the yield? 2.9%?
We've been selling cheese for thousands of years.
No one's seen The Merchant of Venice. I'm going to hedge the fuck out of this.
So that's what's basically going. If this isn't a sign of the apocalypse, I don't know what is.
It is a sign of the apocalypse. Cheese bonds from Italy. I mean, who is putting their money in there?
So,
Are the returns actually cheese? Like, here's box of cheese. We're going to pay you money.
Yeah. No, we don't pay you money. We just give you more gorgonzola back. You got some gorgonzola? Here's some more.
But I wanted mozzarella.
Okay, you're gonna invest in some gorgonzola today. In 10 years, it's going to be really smelly, and we're going to give you some of it.
I think the article did specifically mention Parmesan because it keeps
that shit's expensive in Canada.
Yeah,
I think some people in Canada are going to be confused and probably invest some money because cheese is so expensive here that sometimes you'll see security guards on a cheese counter.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's a great story.
That's what's and then of course Germany's going to be like, what is it? Strudel's going to be next.
Schnitzel.
Schnitzels.
Schnitzel. I don't know. Yeah, they've probably got a Baltic Dry of beer.
Yeah,
something like that.
They're just ripping off the old Russian idea of paying people in vodka. I mean, really.
There you go. Yeah, it's bad when countries start doing that. It's bad.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. I know Portugal doing it with olive oil or something like that. Spain doing it with orphan dogs, with a limp and a bad eye, shit like that. We got some stray dogs in Spain left over from when Franco was in power. They're all fucked up. We're selling 10-year bonds in them, right? It's a really high yield. It's like 3.9%. Anyway, what else we got?
This kind of similar. So some company in Russia has been inspired by Putin.
Right.
That they've decided to come up with a cologne.
Oh, that's a fucking great idea.
It's this new scent of Putin.
Okay, the obvious question is, where can we buy it?
You have to line up in Moscow.
No.
Well, no. Apparently, it's only available in Russia at the moment.
That's a terrible marketing ploy. Because there's other people. Listen, Vladimir Putin is popular all over the world with people who have a brain, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, they could sell the shit out of that. I mean, everybody, I'd buy 2 bottles, one for each hand. So I can spray myself on the left and spray myself on the right as I'm walking down the street going, Vladimir Putin, it's Ode to Vladimir Putin, bitches. Get out of my way, commercial drive, you fucking dog snogger.
What do you think the scent of Putin is?
I don't know. It's probably a cross between napalm and gasoline.
You're right.
And with a bit of fear.
Do you smell that?
You smell that? It's the smell of fucking fear. Huh?
Putin's nearby.
Yeah. That's the smell of a Suki F-24.
Did you just shit your pants? No, it's my new Ode to Putin.
I love it. I'd buy that. A few years ago they had the case for the iPhone. The new iPhone came out and you could get a gold Putin case for it.
Right.
So it's an engraved gold case with Vladimir Putin's face on it, and it had the Kremlin in the background. And I was like, I fucking want. I don't even have an iPhone. I fucking want. I go, do you do them for a Samsung 5?
Yeah.
No, sorry. Shit. How much is it? $3,000. Well, if I had $3,000, I'd definitely be buying one of those.
Yeah, that actually sounds good. No, maybe the Ode of Putin is more like
Oh, I fucking want the Putin
bear
episode
sweat
so much.
Ode to bear and tiger fight.
Do you know what I want? I don't even care what it smells like. It could smell like shit. I'd still wear it.
Well, yeah, but you got to say, like him or not, he's a badass.
Yeah, he's a badass.
He's a tough motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Joe and good old Uncle Joe and the lineage of the Russian dictator. Russia is always more stable when they have a mean ass motherfucker.
Well, you're talking for the Middle East as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Anywhere in the Middle East, take your pick. Theocracies or strongmen? Well, can we have democracy? No, that's not on the table. It's strongmen or theocracies. Take your pick.
Yeah, and you know what? Russia is stable because they have a strong man.
Yeah,
him or not.
Yeah, unfortunately, much to the depressing, disappointment of the Russian people, I think. Yeah. So it's a sad place with a lot of depression and a lot of alcoholism, and it's because they have hundreds of years, generations upon generations of suffering just piled up on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere that Putin was Uncle Joe's. Putin's grandfather was Uncle Joe's butler.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that not entirely unbelievable, but I'd like to know if that was true.
Well,
I'd like to know that.
That's for another.
Right. These are good. I like these news stories. What else you got?
A bluefin tuna in the Pacific.
Oh, this is about to get shit.
Sold for $117,000.
Guess where? Japan.
In Japan, of course.
Yeah, they always do. You know what? Every few months, there's one of these stories, and it's always about this bluefin tuna that gets sold in Japan for an outrageous amount of money.
Well, that just goes to show you, I'm in the wrong business, for one. I should be fucking catching bluefin tuna.
Yeah, but only one. You go, no, we're going for the big one.
Yeah.
What about that one, Eric? Nah, it's too small.
But also the fact that there's basically no fish left.
No.
There's no fish left, so when they do catch one, it's worth its weight in fucking gold.
Now, on a related note, there was actually a story in the paper this week about some Australian fishers, and the picture was phenomenal. It was very impressive. They just pulled out the biggest tiger shark that had ever been caught. It was 1,373 pounds. This thing was fucking massive, and it's a tiger shark. You don't know about tiger sharks? They're one of the most dangerous sharks in the water for swimmers and snorkelers and divers and that sort of thing. And this thing was huge. It was Jaws size.
And where did they catch it?
In Australia.
Somewhere in Australia.
Yeah, I told Byron. Any surfers in its belly?
Yeah, that was the thing I was going to ask. But, I told Byron not to go in the water. I said, the water looks nice. But you know what? Every once in a while, they pull a shark out of the water there that's just bitten somebody like you in half. And I know you're a big man, but even for a shark of that size, it's only 2 bites.
Australia is a big place, though. It is a big place. So
yeah, I know, but you get in the water, and they're like, what sharks are like in the water, and they're looking at the watches, and they're going, where's the fucking swimmers and the surfers?
With that said, I do know a young man who saw his own friend in grade school get eaten in front of him.
By a shark?
By a shark.
And where was this?
Adelaide, South Australia.
Really?
Yeah. So it just goes to show you that the sharks are also running out of fucking fish to eat, so they're coming after humans.
Exactly, and they've got a real epidemic of shark attacks in Australia at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So that's just like the fish are going.
Yeah.
More signs of the apocalypse.
There you go. Thanks, Eric. That's great.
Well, yeah. And of course, really popular in the news is the Zika virus.
Oh, that's definitely a sign of the apocalypse.
Now, I don't understand quite how this works. It's a mosquito-borne illness.
Yep.
And children are born basically without brains, or
no, they've got a small head and they've got a brain deficiency.
They have a brain deficiency.
Yeah, they're born with a small head and the brain's all fucked up.
And there is some weird internet sort of path that you can find that leads you to the conspiracy that this virus came from mosquitoes that were genetically altered.
I don't think this is a conspiracy. I think this is this is true. I think this is pretty much widely accepted now. Basically, there were genetically modified mosquitoes that were released by accident, supposedly, allegedly, in Brazil, and they'd been developed they're called the tiger mosquito, and they've been developed to fight off dengue fever. So dengue fever is a terrible disease that can kill you quite easily. You often find it in tropical places like Thailand and tropical Brazil. And these mosquitoes were developed to eradicate that or fight it off. Anyway, it's all gone mutant. It's all gone island of Dr. Moreau. They've escaped, and now they're giving everybody the Zika virus, which I don't think is as bad as dengue fever, but if you're a pregnant woman, it's worse. So, I mean, if this turns into an epidemic of global proportions, you could see millions upon millions of deformed babies. And the other thing to add to this
well, it's a boon for Planned Parenthood because they're like abort.
Oh, just as long as you don't want a brain, we're good. You don't want a brain? Okay, you just want some feet? Yeah, that's about $500.
But all these kids with Zika virus, they're like their bodies are all like malformed.
No, it's the brain.
Oh, it's just
the brain and the head.
But their bodies are also really small.
I don't know that.
I've seen some photographs.
At the size
when they come out, they're fucking
they are.
small anyway.
No, even when they grow up to be like a little bit older, their bodies, they don't grow like normal people.
Yeah, but no one's got old enough. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I don't think.
They probably do well in space, though.
I mean, it's an old condition. Well, I don't know specifically with Zika virus, but I mean,
it's been around.
It's the old circus sideshow pinhead, right?
I take that back. But the other thing that they've discovered is that somebody in Texas contracted the Zika virus sexually. Yep. So it can be passed sexually from person to person, and it sits dormant in sperm.
It's the new AIDS.
Yeah, maybe. So more signs of the apocalypse.
More signs of the apocalypse. Well, that's all the news stories I wrote down for today.
That's a great collection of news stories.
And they're all related.
And you know what? And they're all juicy as fuck.
Yep. It's the funnier they get, the more sad they make me. So it's good to be on the show, but do you miss Byron?
At moments like this, I miss him a bit.
You miss him a little bit.
But don't want to take anything away from you. I mean, it's great to have you here. You come with lots of juicy stuff to talk about. Byron comes with fuck all. Let's be honest about it. He just turns up in his underpants, rolls off the sofa, and goes, "What are we doing?" And I say, "Byron, where are you?" He's going, I just went out for a massage and something to eat. You know, it's like, no. All right, let's not go down there. I always complain about it.
He's a mine of golden nuggets.
Oh, he is. And you know what? You can rely on him for a laugh every 30 seconds.
It's true.
Which, he's as regular as a machine gun.
But you have to pull it out of him. I remember that story about him having a threesome.
Oh, that was great.
In England.
We had to pull that down because someone got upset about it. One of the people involved got upset about it. So we had to pull it down. But that was a phenomenal story. And the more that you pulled the details out of him, it was like pulling flags out of a hat, or or bunnies, something like that. It just got better and better and better. You think, how many fucking flags and bunnies are in that hat?
Yeah. Well, that kind of reminds me, because I was thinking about that, and I had a couple of years ago. I had an.
Do you want me to do the same thing for you?
Well,
have you got an embarrassing story that you would like to tell me?
I do have a kind of embarrassing story that I was gonna tell, that I felt inspired to tell you. So I did a little thinking, I did a little research, and I decided to do one of those master cleanses. You ever heard of the master cleanse?
I can imagine.
Okay, so for those people who don't know what the master cleanse is, I basically didn't eat any food for 14 days.
Oh, was that prescribed?
No, I mean, I know. I had a girlfriend who was kind of a yoga teacher, health freak for a few years.
Let's go back a bit here, right? So the master cleanse. Now you said it to me like everybody knows what the master cleanse is. You know, it's available in a from a doctor. You go to a professional. A professional goes, this is the master cleanse. And if you're telling me that it involves not eating for 14 days, I think a professional has to be involved in some sort of guidance.
Everyone I told thought I was insane.
So you didn't seek out any sort of professional guidance in this. Instead, you went to a yoga teacher friend of yours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did this yoga teacher, I mean, where did they get this diet from? Where did they get this information from?
Well, it's based on okay, so this is it, right? Like, I don't know where this information came from, but basically for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, people have fasted.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Jesus did it for 40 days.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't go 40 days.
Right.
And I didn't eat food. I did drink water.
Well, that's good.
In fact, the master cleanse is specifically like you drink filtered water with lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup.
No, I've heard of this. And I've heard of this as a way of cleansing out the kidneys and that sort of thing.
You basically let your organs like have a rest from digestion.
Yeah.
For 14 days.
I fully appreciate the benefits of fasting.
And you know what? 14 days of no food was a lot easier than you might think.
Can you still do stuff during this time? Can you can you go about, you want to go training, go running? Can you still do that?
They recommend you do not work.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So this is basically the sort of diet that can only be embarked upon by a fucking yoga teacher who lives on Commercial Drive.
That's right. Yeah.
It doesn't have to do jack shit.
But I had a lot of energy. I felt there was a certain point where I felt really energized, almost manic.
Yeah, that's your body dying.
Yeah.
That's your body telling your brain that you're about to die. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'll give you some energy. Go kill a cat.
Yeah. I felt really good. And so I told a friend about what I was, he's like, oh, yeah. And he was like, oh, yeah, I've done the master cleanse. Yeah. And I said, well, what did you do? He's like, well, you know what? It's one thing to not eat any food, right? But there's still, you need to like get what's inside of you out.
Right. So he's up in it, right?
Right. He's like right in there, right?
He's like, the yoga teacher's like, you know what? I'm a moderate. I'm only going to tell you not to eat for 14 days and drink some juice.
Yeah.
Right. But this guy, he's fucking nuts.
He's like,
because he's going to tell you to up the ante.
Yeah. So he's like, what you do is on the 10th day.
Right. It's going to be the 10th day.
On the 10th day.
Right. Is he a doctor? Can I just ask?
No, he's not a doctor
right.
either.
Has he got any medical qualifications?
Not at all, no.
Right. Is he making this shit up as he goes along?
No, he's done it a couple times. He does it once a year.
Okay, fair enough.
This friend of mine, he does it once a year.
Well, experience is a great thing.
Yeah. And he says what you do on the 10th day, what you do is you go and you like book an appointment and get a colonic.
Right.
So like you're not eating any food, but after like a week and a half, there's still like you gotta hose out the back. So you gotta basically hose down the car.
There's not going to be anything in there except for some tire marks.
There's no solids in there.
No,
but there's bile and
but also you've got enzymes and bacteria in there that are essential to a healthy gut and colon and stuff like that. I mean,
that's quite possible.
So so anyway, your friend
that
who's
kind of shut down after a few days of not eating, so you could get things.
I am no paleobotanist. I do not know.
No, but you'll take advice from someone else who doesn't know.
Clearly. Right?
Yeah. Yes, go on, tell me.
So basically I was like, oh, well, if I should do a colonic, then of course, right? So I signed up for a colonic and I show up on the day.
Right.
And I go into this, and it's
can I stop you? The woman who greets you, it's a woman and she's gorgeous.
Do you know this story?
No. It's all whenever anybody goes to a colonic, it's always a drop dead gorgeous woman who greets them and says, "I'm going to do the colonic."
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened to me. Right? Like, first of all, it's not even a clinic. It's not like a clinic in a commercial part. It's like somebody's house, and they've converted their basement into like this colonic. Like
who the fuck does this as a job?
And they've got a big tank of water, and all the tubes are clear so they can see what's coming in and out of you. And so
I can answer Ivan's question. Someone with a creepy ass fetish.
Wow. So she's described me for. Anyway,
Okay,
I jumped in there because I wanted to just say I'm guessing ahead here. She's drop dead gorgeous,
So
right?
I walk
so
in,
you walk in. She meets you,
and I'm immediately like, I feel like heat and panic.
What's her name? What does she look like?
I can't remember her name. I didn't absorb that.
What does she smell like?
She had red,
hair?
curly red hair.
Nice.
She was young,
right?
Ish.
Yeah.
And she had like a beautiful, big, pearly set of teeth. That was just. She almost had too many teeth for her.
Yeah, that's Canada for you.
Like that Texas smile.
Yeah,
like just fucking gorgeous.
Do you know what I do? Whenever I see that many teeth, that's straight. I just think no personality. It's like when people judge people for having a gym bag. As soon as I see too many teeth, it's too straight, I just go, no personality.
Well, she was, I was like, so of course I made that, it wasn't a joke so much as like, it was kind of like an inferred, directed question. So it was like, so who's going to be doing the procedure? And she's like, oh, it's going to be me. And of course I'm just like, oh, but like my gut just like all got all tied up in a knot because I was like, oh no.
You're going to have to put stuff up your ass. And then she's going to wash out your ass and see all sorts of residue flowing out through a nice clean tubes, right, back into a nice clean tank, and then after you're gone, she's gonna have to get all that shit out of there and scoop it out. Anyway, I'm jumping ahead. Go on.
Well, I don't know what she did afterwards, but like I had psyched myself up. Like I remember being in the car going, okay, I'm doing this. Right. And I got out and I walked in there and all my courage just evaporated.
Okay. So when you made the appointment, you didn't talk to her, you talked to her dad. It was like a creep. Yeah, what time do you want the colonic? Oh, yeah, that'll be all right. Come round at 10:30 in the morning. Yeah, we'll be ready for you. And you're thinking, cool, it's a nasty old bloke. That's fine.
Yeah. Or an old Chinese woman. I don't care. Like,
yeah. That's what you want.
But like, no. And so she leads me down into the basement of this private house. And I go into this room and she's like, okay, so just take off your clothes and get under the blanket and I'll come back. So like, I'm laying there.
Why do you need a blanket?
Well, like, so you're nude, right?
Oh, right. No, you just pull your pants down.
Well, in my case, I was fully nude.
Why does she want you? That's weird. Okay, she comes round to your house for a colonic, right?
Think of it.
And
Why
you go,
was I fully
right,
nude?
get all your kit off and lie on there. And she's like, whoa, I've come for a colonic. I can do this standing up. And you're like, no, you got to get all your kit off and lie on that bed.
Yeah.
And she's going to be like going, you know what? I'm not comfortable with this. But you, on the other hand, went, yep, beautiful girl.
I didn't think of it that way. I was just doing as I was instructed. But now that you mention it, like, I guess I didn't have to take my top off.
No. Did you come back? Did she come back in the room and you had a little tent going on?
No. Are you kidding? It was cold down there.
She hadn't even got the heating on.
I was too busy thinking about like other things to worry about getting a boner.
How much did it cost you?
It cost like $100 or something.
That's fair. That's not bad for an hour's work or something.
For an hour, it was like an hour. It shouldn't even. But
you didn't get a happy ending.
So no. So when she walked in, like I refused to make eye contact with her. Like,
that's not a good sign.
I was just kind of like looking around.
She's probably used to it though.
Yeah,
she's probably used to guys, confused people who've listened to a mate and a yoga tutor who's told them to do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
She's going, did the yoga tutor send you? She's going, no, it's my crazy mate. Oh, right, that's okay. It's another referral down to crazy mate.
So she's like, well, I'm looking around and she's like, but getting busy and she's just lubing up the hose, right?
Oh, nice. Has it got like a plug on it?
It's like it's a tapered end.
Oh, nice. And that's going right up there, Eric.
Yeah. It's like, actually, when you look at it, it's not that, but the end isn't that big.
Right, fair enough. It's the wedge.
Big. It's a wedge, kind of a wedge.
Nice. Yeah. And are you a man who's used to putting things up there?
I'm not. So like,
it's virgin territory.
Even though it was only the size of a pencil, it felt like a cigar. Like it felt a lot bigger. It was like lift your legs and to the wall. Right. She didn't insert right away. She just put it up to the anus.
Yeah.
Right? And then she's like, "Okay, are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then insert, right? And of course, my body just went into instant spasm, like.
What, she pushed it all in at once?
Yeah, like slow, like it was like a slow, not like a jab, it was like a real slow, controlled push.
Like, fuck off, this is going in.
Yeah, and I was like, and of course I was like, sharp breaths, and like.
You're panicking.
Total, full panic. Like,
and what'd she do?
And she's like rubbing my belly. So she's rubbing my belly with one hand, right? And with the other hand, she's holding the tube in my ass, and my testicles are just resting on the back of her hand.
Ooh, she's like, so close to heaven right now.
Like a turtle. It's just sitting there on the back of her hand, right? And I was like, and she's like, relax. And of course I'm like, I'm trying to relax, because Because and this is not a value judgment. I'm not saying
Right.
anything about gays or anything like that. But because the anus is technically an exit,
Yes.
it's constantly trying to squeeze shut, right?
Yeah, it doesn't want anything in there.
No, and it's like it's built so that you don't walk around dropping things.
And
Right?
it's also built so that shit doesn't go up there, excuse the pun,
Yeah.
and cause an infection.
Yeah, so like it's fucking like it's involuntarily squeezing,
Right.
just like really, and I'm like, she finally gets the hose up there, and my asshole is just fucking holding on to that.
Oh, I can imagine your asshole's got oppositional defiance at this stage,
it's
doesn't
like,
it?
yeah, just squeezing that too.
Sticking a tube up a man's ass with oppositional defiance. That's a task.
Yeah. So like I finally calm my breathing, right? And my asshole is just squeezing that tube, right? And then she's like, ready? Now I'm turning the water on.
You go,
right?
whoa.
And then the water.
She goes, hang on a minute, before I turn the water on, this is a great time to tell you about the merits of communism. Ready? Water on.
Communism. All right, it's warm water. It's fully warm.
Fuck it. At least she's done her own work with that.
It's not cold water, but
Hopefully it's body temperature.
yeah, but it's not like, but it's like it's inflating your intestine.
That's
right?
fucked.
And I was like,
that is fucked up.
some more, like, right. Like basically, it was an hour of just involuntary
An hour?
spasms.
So hang on a minute. Okay, you've got the water going in, right? But you're not filling up like Pingu, right? It's got to come out somewhere, right? It's not coming out your mouth. It's not like she's going, I'm going to put it in here. It's going to come out your mouth.
No,
She's not doing that.
What they do is they fill you up.
Yeah.
And then they reverse flow it, and then it comes out. So basically, in and out like a tide, in and out.
It's not like you got one tube going in and one tube going out.
No, it's in and out, in and out, in
I'm
and out.
never having this done.
Right.
You know that.
And so,
it liquefies the.
No, it's water. It's water. It comes in, and then.
No, but I'm thinking small tube, right?
Well, I guess the hole is big enough where and what they do is the water flushes in and out until it's clear, right? But I hadn't eaten it in 10 days, so I wasn't worried about shitting on her. Right?
No. But you're good. You'll probably be clear in about a minute and a half.
She made comments about how there were she's like, wow, there's it was just mostly, and then there was you could see the tube right, so it was all yellow. It was basically yellow,
right.
like the color of pee.
And
right?
what does it smell like when you go into this?
I didn't smell it because it was all gone away. But
does she have the room heavily perfumed?
I don't.
This is a good question. This is the sort of question I should be answering.
It wasn't like a holistic thing where she was burning incense and stuff like that.
Did she tell you about communism?
So the whole time, of course, the whole time I was cracking jokes because I was so embarrassed.
Oh really?
So
once you got out the spasm, you started cracking jokes.
I was like, wow, this is crazy job you got, and she admitted that she herself did it. She did it to herself once a month.
Right.
So she had obviously had a bit of an anal fetish,
Yeah.
Which was, and I was crying, but there was no brown, and so she's like, well, at the end of it, when it was all done, she's like, okay, great, I'm gonna meet you upstairs, and then you can just pay, and then we'll sort that out.
You're like, pay? I'm leaving. I'm jumping out the window now.
Yeah. So, which is why they got in the basement, so you can't sneak out. So I get dressed and I go back upstairs, and then she hands me the thing, and I quietly pay. And then she says, so how do you feel? And I said, yeah, I feel all right, thanks. Yeah, no, feel great. I've turned into Justin Trudeau. I feel absolutely wonderful, thank you. Yeah, exactly. And she's like, then she says, I've never met anybody quite like you.
Really? That's a bit leading.
Yeah, and then she says, you want to go out sometime?
That is fucked. Can I just say how fucked that's Eric? What did you say?
So my jaw kind of did one of those dropped open kind of
Yeah, no, you just put a pipe up my bum and you want to go out with me now.
Well, that's just it. If the circumstances had been different, I would be asking her out.
Yeah,
right?
no, you would never have done that because you would have thought this is ridiculous. She's going to say, no, I've just seen the color of your bum water. Yeah. Why would I want to go out with you? And you would go, that's a very fair response. I'm sorry for bothering you.
But maybe it was the color. It was clearly the color of my bum water that she was impressed with.
I think that, and you've hit the nail on the head right there. I think it was the health of your colon that made you attractive to her.
Yeah. And I mean,
now that's fucked.
That I was open to whatever this faux spiritual fucking health process,
right?
Because all I was trying to do was just clear myself out.
Okay, So anyway, she's there. So there's this pregnant moment where she said, "Do you want to go out sometime?"
And then
she looked at you and what? Smiled.
Next customer walks in the door just as that moment.
No, hang on a minute. But he just the next person just like right on the doorbell and just walked in.
Pregnant pause, just like you said.
Yeah.
My mouth's open. I don't know how to answer it. And then ding-a-ling-ding, just like the bell, the door opens and another person walks right in. Hi, I'm here for my other appointment. And I was just like, see you later. And I just fucking checked out. Like, I just slipped out and never saw that girl ever again.
I think a lot of people do that, right? You get this option. It's too much for you. What a cool person would have done is they would have looked her in the eye and said, let me think about it.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then walked out.
Yeah. But I didn't. And...
But you know what? This is the benefit of hindsight. I mean, she needs to be careful. She's like the colonic Gian Gomeshi.
Yeah.
Right now. She's this close.
She could have fully taken advantage of me.
Well, it sounds like she did. She touched your testicles with the back of her hand.
She touched me.
And then inappropriately asked you out.
And that's the thing.
He's been merkled.
He has been merkled.
So that's the story of how
that's fantastic.
My one and only colonic.
Oh, you never went back. Pyro, have you ever thought about opening up a S&M colonic cell?
I haven't, but it sounds lucrative.
It's a niche market. You could charge $250 just for some
concern
leather boots and gloves.
See, I would have to move down to Los Angeles first.
Oh,
because
I don't know.
I'm shallow.
Gas town.
No, not because of that. It's because I'm shallow, and I really don't want to. It's the same reason why I'm not a dominatrix, because I realize most of the guys who would be willing to pay are fat, ugly guys I don't want to see naked.
Right.
Fair enough.
You know what?
But they're paying you so much that you can erase it from your mind. Sorry, Eric.
No, I was just going to say that.
Unfortunately, I'm really visual, so yeah. No, I got to move to LA where all the cute, skinny ex-heroin addicts are.
I think this is a topic that we need to go into depth with you on another occasion. Just the whole BDSM satanic kind of like weird and wonderful world.
Well, what we'll do is we'll get Pyra to bring a war chest down or a dungeon. You know, we'll go
I actually
to
got rid
Pyra's
of
house.
a lot of the stuff I used to have.
We'll go around to Pyra's house and we'll go through a dungeon whilst we do a show.
You should have asked me that in July, because when I was cleaning out my back at a back room that was like a scene out of Hoarders. So I actually threw a lot of that stuff is in the landfill now.
Oh, that's going to be there forever.
All right, I'd like to thank both of you.
It's my contribution to future generations of archaeologists.
Yeah.
That is a very good point. I'd like to end on that. Just archaeologists digging up that shit, whatever it might be. My mind's working overtime.
What the hell were they doing in the 21st century?
Our last words were the million-year-old dildo.
All right. Well, thank you very much, both of you. It's been a great episode. I like this dynamic. It's wonderful. I hope you, the listeners, have enjoyed it. I've been Ivan Penaluna.
I've been Eric Amber.
And I've been Pura Dracula.
Thank you very much. So anyway, Byron's away. You're here. You're going to be here for a little while, aren't you? While he's away.
Byron is away,
Byron's away for 2 months in Australia. Can you believe that?
What a twat.
What's he doing there?
Big fat.
What's he doing there?
Under that fat, he's ripped, though. You know that.
Well, on the inside, he's got real core strength.
He's like a really ripped man who exercises every day, covered in blubber.
You think he's got extreme core strength from like planking and stuff like that?
I lived with him for a little while, and he's ripped.
Yeah, he is ripped, but he's covered in seal puppy fat.
Yeah, he's like a bulldog covered in like a parka.
I suppose he is actually. That's a very good way of describing him. He's furry. He's furry. It's like a mammal that existed in prehistoric times that has been brought to the modern age and put on top of a man.
He's a Viking. His ancestors were Vikings.
Well, they're from the Isle of Man.
Right.
So they're probably fucked
He's
cats.
barrel-chested, but he's got these tiny little stick legs.
Yeah, he has. He has. He looks like a potato on toothpicks.
That's right.
As he does. If you're unfortunate enough to share a hotel room with him.
He's like one of those rocket popsicle sticks that has 2 sticks.
Oh, I think we got the
picture. With like a giant...
I think we got the picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so Byron's not here.
So I'm going to take his place for a little while.
Okay.